Good morning, everyone. Please have a seat.
So good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Just a quick orienting comment or two. Today we celebrate and recognize what's called Nehan in our tradition, which is a remembrance of the Buddha's passing. And so there's some special readings that we will do, and you've noticed a little Dharma treat by your cushion. And it's traditional in this time to bring up cookies and to have them be a part of, the liturgical action. We didn't make cookies happen this year, but we have candy, so that works. And at the appropriate time, when we're chanting the Emmejuku Kanangyo, there's 2 stations that you can see here, and you'll be given cues for this. But folks on this side can just come and offer them here, and folks over here can offer theirs at that point. Okay, and that'll happen when we stand up and we're doing the liturgy. Okay? Thank you, everybody.
Gata of Atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me, sins of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me, since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me, since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all. Nikaya 3 Refuges. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. Mahayana Refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers, for the lineage of teachers before them. I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened, and may their vows be completely realized. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings, generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred, being close to some and distant from others. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. Yes. Our reading today is The Buddha's Last Instruction by Mary Oliver. Make yourself a light, said the Buddha before he died. I think of this every morning as the east begins to tear off its many clouds of darkness, to send up the first signal, a white fan streaked with pink and violet, even green. An old man, he laid down between two sala trees, and he might have said anything, knowing it was his final hour. The light burns upward. It thickens and settles over the fields. Around him, the villagers gathered and stretched forward to listen. Even before the sun itself hangs, disattached in the blue air, I am touched everywhere by its ocean of yellow waves. No doubt he thought of everything that had happened in his difficult life. And then I feel the sun itself as it blazes over the hills, like a million flowers on fire. Clearly I'm not needed, yet I feel myself turning into something of inexplicable value. Slowly, beneath the branches, he raised his head. He looked into the faces of that frightened crowd. Please stand for the Heart Sutra. Yes. So the piece of candy, please hold it with you. And after the Heart Sutra, we will do the Enmei-juku Kanan Gyo, and you will be bringing it up to the bowls on the Manjushri and Guanyin sides, and an usher will lead you line by line to make the offering with your candy. Great Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, practicing deep prajna paramita, clearly saw that all all five skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Shariputra form is no other than emptiness, emptiness, no other than form. Form is exactly emptiness, emptiness, exactly form. Sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all things are essentially empty, not born, not destroyed, not stained, not pure, without loss, without gain. Therefore in emptiness there is no form, no sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no color, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of thought, no seeing, and so on, to no thinking, no ignorance, and also no ending of ignorance, and so on, to no old age and death, and also no ending of old age and death, no suffering, cause of suffering, cessation, path, no wisdom and no attainment, since there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva lives by prajna paramita, with no hindrance in the mind, no hindrance, and therefore no fear, far beyond elusive thinking. Right here is nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future live by prajna paramita, attaining anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore know that prajna paramita is the great sacred mantra, the great vivid mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra, which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not mere formality. Therefore set forth the prajna paramita mantra. Set forth this mantra and proclaim: Gate, gate, para, gate, parasam, gate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, para, gate, parasam, gate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, para, gate, parasam, gate, bodhisvaha. Enmei juku kanangyo kanze anamu butsu yo butsu uen yo butsu uen bopo soen joraku ga jo shonen kanze an bonen kanze an nennen jushen ki nennen furishen kanze anamu butsu yo butsu uen yo butsu uen bopo soen joraku ga jo shonen kanze an bonen kanze an nennen jushen ki nennen furishen kanze an namu butsu yo butsu uen yo butsu uen bopo soen joraku ga jo shonen Bonen Kanzeon, Bonen Kanzeon, Nennen Jushen Ki, Nennen Furishen, absorbing world sounds awakens a Buddha right here. This Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices. In the light recall this, in the dark recall this. Moment after moment, the true heart arises. Time after time, there is nothing but this. Absorbing world sounds awakens a Buddha right here. This Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices. In the light recall this, in the dark recall this. Moment after moment, the true heart arises. Time after time, there is nothing but this. Absorbing world sounds awakens a Buddha right here. This Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices. In the light recall this, in the dark recall this. Moment after moment, the true heart arises. Time after time, there is nothing but this. By the vow made many ages ago, the world-honored one was born into this world for our sake, to guide people and gods toward the goal of nirvana. The compassion of the Buddha, like that of a mother, provided milk to all and nurtured them. Now he has gone to nirvana, leaving them to feel that they have lost their refuge. May the treasure of the Dharma and the light of the relics of the Buddha illuminate our path and help us escape from delusion. We dedicate all of the merit from the preceding recitations to the dragon spirits of the earth who are protectors of the true Dharma. We humbly pray that their spiritual luminosity will aid us, that they will widely extend their beneficial protection, that this temple shall flourish, and that they shall long confer their selfless blessings. The pure body of the Dharma realm fundamentally has no emerging or disappearing. The power of the vow of great compassion is manifest throughout the goings and comings of birth and death. We especially dedicate these merits to Thich Nhat Hanh Daiosho, Paula, Sini, Barb at the time of her death, as well as those names we hold in the silence of our hearts and those names we now voice aloud. May we live with perfect peace in Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all honored ones, Bodhisattva, Mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, Mahaprajna, Paramita. Prepare for Zazen. At the sound of the clappers, first and third rows turn to your right, second and back rows turn to your left. At the next sound of the clappers, begin walking at a slow pace of 1 step per breath. We will now recite the Sangha Covenant. We, the Daishin Kokuji Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Prepare for Teisho.
Teachers, please explain the story of the Buddha's death.
Well done, we say. Well done. We will explain the meaning of the Buddha's death.
Gata on opening the sutra. The Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered, even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
So today we remember the passing away of our original founding teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. And it's interesting that great teacher Thich Nhat Hanh passed away pretty much right around this time. And it made me think to look over his literature and his versions of this. And so there's a resource here, Old Path, White Clouds, which is a wonderful little telling of the Buddha's life. And I would like to draw some from Old Tay's teaching on this subject. He tells the story this way. Venerable Ananda wiped away his tears and said, "Buddha, please, don't pass away here. Kunshinagara is just a small town of mud dwellings. There are so many more worthy places like Sampa or Ragaja or Savatthi, Sakata, Kosambi, Varanasi. Please, select such a place to pass away so that more people will have a chance to see your face one last time." The Buddha replied, "Ananda, Kunsinagara is also important, even if it is no more than a small town of mud dwellings. The Tathagata finds this forest and this place most agreeable. Ananda, do you see the sal flowers falling about me?" The Buddha asked Ananda to go to Kunshinagara and announce to the Mallas that the Buddha would pass to nirvana in the grove of sal trees at the last night's watch. When the Malla people heard this news, they hastily made their way to the forest. An ascetic named Subhana was among them. While the people took turns bowing to Buddha, Subhana asked Venerable Ananda if he could have an audience with the Buddha. Ananda refused, saying the Buddha was too tired and too ill to receive anyone. But the Buddha overheard their conversation and said, "Ananda, let this ascetic Subhana speak with me. The Tathagata will receive him." And this is the image that we have of the Buddha when he's lying down. It's often for sale at what used to be Pier 1 Imports as the chill Buddha, relax, dude, and kind of, like this. But actually what it's an expression of is his very last effort in this lifetime. Even though he was gravely ill, he still made the effort to receive this questioner and to express the Dharma. And so he supported his head and received the querent's question. The ascetic Subhana then knelt before the Buddha. He had long felt drawn to the Buddha's teaching, but had never met him before. He bowed down and said, "Lord, I have heard about spiritual leaders such as Purana Kassapa, Makali Gosala, Ajita, Pundaka, Sanagaya, and others. I would like to ask if, according to you, have any of these other teachers attained true enlightenment?" An interesting question. Maybe he's thinking, gosh, I just met you, but you're obviously on your way out. Is there someone else I should be studying with? That could give it some context, If he's a newbie, after all, Anyway, the Buddha answered, "Subhana, whether or not they have attained enlightenment is not a necessary thing to discuss. Subhana, the Tathagata will show you the path by which you yourself can attain enlightenment." The Buddha spoke to Subhana about the Noble Eightfold Path, and he concluded by saying, "Subhana, wherever the Noble Eightfold Path is truly practiced, you will find people who have attained enlightenment. Subhana, if you follow the path, you too can attain enlightenment." And so in this response, instead of speculating about others, he brings it right to the point. And as his last teaching, he expresses the Four Noble Truths: the truth of dukkha, the arising of dukkha, the cessation of dukkha, and the path to realizing this. Right? He says, do this, practice this yourself, and then you will become enlightened. That is the main question, isn't it? The ascetic Subhana felt his heart open suddenly, and he was filled with great joy and happiness. He asked the Buddha to accept him as a bhikkhu. The Buddha gestured and asked Venerable Ananda to perform the ordination ceremony right then and there. After Subhana's head was shaved and he received the precepts, and was given the robe and the bowl of a priest. The Buddha then looked at all the bhikkhus sitting around him. Many bhikkhus from the vicinity had arrived, and so there were now nearly 500, and the Buddha spoke to them. Bhikkhus, if you have any doubts or perplexity concerning the teaching, now is the time to ask the Tathagata. Tathagata means the thus come one. It's a title of Buddha, an awakening. He continued, do not let this opportunity pass by so that later you will reproach yourselves, saying, the day I was face to face with Buddha, but I didn't ask him what I needed to. No one spoke. The Buddha repeated these words 3 times, but still no one in the assembly had any questions. The Venerable Ananda exclaimed, Lord, it is truly wonderful. I have faith in the community of bhikkhus. I have faith in the Sangha. Everyone has clearly understood your teaching. No one has any doubts or perplexity about your teaching and the path to realizing it. The Buddha said, Ananda, you speak from faith, while the Tathagata has direct knowledge. The Tathagata knows that all the bhikkhus here possess a deep faith in the 3 gems. Even the lowest attainment among them is that of stream enterer. The Buddha looked quietly over the community and then said, Bhikkhus, listen to what the Tathagata now says. Dharmas are impermanent. If there is birth, there is death. Be diligent in your own efforts to attain liberation. The Buddha closed his eyes. He had spoken his last words. The earth shook, the flower blossoms fell like rain, and everyone felt their minds and their bodies tremble. They knew that the Buddha had passed into nirvana. Now, the often quoted line here is that of be a light unto yourselves. And that's absolutely correct. Trust yourself. But the point I would like to make in this is before it's time to be a light unto yourself and trust yourself, you have to know what the Dharma is. You have to know how to practice it. It's really not a throwaway thing that he asks the Sangha, you guys got it? You good? And everybody's genuinely like, yeah, we got it. We're good. We know how to practice. You sure? You know how to practice? Because that's what he's saying there. Do you understand the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, and how to practice? And actually, yeah, they understand how to practice. And because they understand how to practice, he says, okay, trust that. Trust your practice. Does that make sense? It's an unfortunate thing that it becomes a meme. Buddha says, just be a light unto yourself. And that's well, if you understand the Dharma, the context he was saying it in is to those like us who are assembled and training and practicing. Does that make sense to everybody? So there are many, many things in this story that are so important. The Buddha's willingness, even to his last breath, to be of use, to try to help. The fact that he had successfully taught the Dharma, that he had a community of practitioners that knew what to do. You know what to do. Mindfulness is not just a non-judgmental presence in the moment. It's knowing when you're messing up and correcting. It's being able to tell when you're harming yourself or others. Being aware of that and course correcting. Does that make sense? So in this way, the Buddha completed his life's work. And notice the ascetic who is there is listing off these spiritual heavyweight teachers of the day. And the Buddha said, look, lots of people come to enlightenment. Wherever the Dharma is practiced and understood with right view and right intention, you will find people that have come to awakening. But better than find those, become awakened yourself. Truly, this is the most important thing. You can see in the images of the Thich Nhat Hanh community the great feeling that they have for their teacher. And yet I know that the practice is strong. And I think they do too. And so each of us, whether we become a name as luminous as Thich Nhat Hanh or as anonymous as our own, this is not the point. The point is that we know how to practice and that we trust ourselves then with this practice. And in this way, we can encounter the Buddha everywhere. All expressions of reality contain reality. And so whether it's the sound of snowfall or a rumbling train, I think we may have found what's setting off our motion detector. Or whether it's a Dharma talk, or listening to the Eno chant, or listening to the cacophony of our own mind during Zazen, all of it is itself exactly an expression of the Dharma.
It's funny, I thought that rumbling was the Buddha dying, and we were all experiencing the earth trembling at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go with it.
So there is a point to saying that, though, which is that what is so incredible about the Buddha's life and the Buddha's teaching is that he basically said, everything I did, you can do. In other words, my enlightenment experience is totally reproducible. You do not have to worship me as a God that could possibly give it to you if you only did the right stuff. You basically have everything you need to practice. And right to the very end, he was constantly putting people back into their own power, back into their own capacity. And of course, this is our birthright. This is who we are. We were born with this light, and we live with this light. Everyone we meet, we are this light, even before the dawn that Mary Oliver saw. She was that light. And this is what we're practicing, being a light unto ourselves and unto the world. And I can only bow to the Buddha who has given us this path. No path, no practice. No practice, just spinning around in the dryer of delusion, right? So, as Rinzin was saying, this Buddha nature pervades everywhere. We say that all the time, every liturgy, more or less. And again, our practice, sitting on the cushion, is to realize that fact. Buddha nature pervades everywhere. And then to actualize that fact, to actually show up as Buddha nature pervading everywhere. And together, we can do this. And it's a heck of a lot easier together. So we bow to Buddha. We also bow to the brilliance of him creating Sangha around him and giving us some sort of template to be able to reproduce over and over again. Remember that Sangha is actually the oldest living human institution. So it's been going on for a long, long time. And of course, the Dharma is the teachings that he gave. But most importantly, it's our own spiritual development that arises from totally integrating those teachings. I loved what Renson said, that it isn't just like some meme, oh, be a light unto yourself. And you sit there and go, what does that mean? I'm trying. I don't know. It's not working. It's definitely not working. I'm miserable. Everybody around me is miserable. So that Dharma piece is like really important, because without the teachings, without the cognitive framework, we're kind of still spinning around in that dryer of delusion, right? I personally liked the dedication about the dragons stomping around. I don't know if you know this, but our priest name is Ryudo, and that means dragon hall. So you all are in the dragon hall, stomping around, protected the Dharma. Please take care of it.
Thank you, everybody.
Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it.
I can't find the lanolin to turn it on. It's in there somewhere. But for those who are here, it's very auspicious to take some chocolate today because it was brought up for a Nehan offering. So it's a very traditional thing to enjoy. So please take, and maybe Shokai, if you can bring the chocolates back and make sure everybody gets a little Dharma treat for being here today. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for coming. Are there any announcements?
Is it working? It's working. Okay, a couple announcements about upcoming events. Not next weekend, but the Saturday after, we are having a half-day Zazenkai, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. right here. Vaccinated members are welcome to come in person. Everyone else, it will be hybrid like we did last time. We'll conclude with a Mondo where we bring in people who are remote as well as people who are here in person. So hope everyone will come. That's a drop-in event for members. A couple days after that, on the 22nd, we are beginning the process of forming our 2022 Jukai class. And we're starting that, we're kicking it off with a session, an informational session about Jukai. So if you have not done Jukai, not taken the precepts, and you're interested in that, that will be a 7 p.m. Tuesday, the 22nd Zoom event. Get in touch if you need details about how to connect with that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jakai. And if there are a few people that could help after service, we need to move some books and maybe a shelf from the library up to the community space. So anybody who can stay after and help, look for me. I'll be hanging out in the back. Thank you.
Any others? Thank you. Please remember to take a Dharma treat and please restore the Zendo.
The Dharma treats will be on the table by the...
Oh. The Dharma treats will be on the table on your way out near the door.
Oh,